Tonight, apology demanded.
That, quite frankly, is insulting and ignorant.
Sarnia councillors call out their colleague over online conduct.
The Leafs have a better chance of winning the Stanley Cup this year than me apologizing.
Plus, one-on-one with a whistleblower.
The longer that I worked there, the more that I saw and the harder it became to ignore.
A former St. Joseph's employee and their concerns with dog testing. And the Marathon of Hope lives on. Terry Fox's brother sharing his message with future generations.
CTV News with Carlyle Fiset.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. A Sarnia City councillor says he has no intention of apologizing after a council decision today calling on him to do just that. Bill Dennis is standing by his online comments over an Indigenous art piece at City Hall, which prompted today's special council meeting. Brian Bicknell reports.
Never in a million years. Never in a million years. The Leafs have a better chance of winning the Stanley Cup this year than me apologizing.
Sarnia councillor Bill Dennis did not attend, but wasted no time responding to a special council meeting to address comments he made that upset Indigenous communities. A motion called on Dennis to apologize to Indigenous artist Kennedy Osborne, who painted a welcome mural at City Hall, along with the chiefs of Aamjiwnaang and Kettle and Stony Point First Nations and their communities.
And to make those letters available for public viewing.
That's unanimous. Thank you.
While it passed unanimously, one councillor expressed doubts.
I don't believe that Councillor Dennis believes he's done anything wrong, so an apology from himself is going to actually be real.
The ordeal began last week when Dennis lashed out on Facebook about taxpayer money spent on the mural, saying it's nothing more than virtue signaling by woke politicians.
That, quite frankly, is insulting and ignorant to art in general.
The post set off a series of exchanges with Dennis being accused of vulgar and racist commentary and Indigenous leaders calling on City Council to deal with Dennis under its code of conduct.
And when we make comments or put in print, put that in your pipes and smoke it, you cannot deny that that was an attack or a slur on our neighbors. And I'm ashamed that we are broadcasting out to the world that Sarnia is a racist city.
Christy McRoberts is in a lot of trouble for the things that she said about me. Putting that in your pipe and smoking it is not a racial slur. It's a common phrase. All you have to do is Google it and find out what it means. As a matter of fact, I got that from watching The Simpsons.
Council is also seeking advice on potential human rights violations. It wants regular updates from a council committee whose goal is to foster relations with First Nations, and it wants a formal thank you for Indigenous artist Kennedy Osborne. Brian Bicknell, CTV News.
For the first time since controversial dog testing was revealed last summer at St. Joseph's Healthcare, one of the whistleblowers is speaking publicly. They say they're appalled by what they call a public relations campaign, minimizing what they witnessed firsthand. Rita Ismail reports.
A whistleblower behind allegations of controversial dog experiments at St. Joseph's Healthcare London maintains what they witnessed inside the lab was deeply troubling.
I got to know each of these dogs individually. I got to see each of their personalities take shape. I earned their trust, and then I saw each and every one of them be killed.
Their comments come after independent reviews last month found no violations of animal care standards. In an interview with CTV News, the whistleblower, who asked to be identified only as Alex, says the findings don't reflect what they experienced while working inside the lab.
I worked directly with these animals over an extended period of time. At first, I didn't fully realize what was going on, but the longer that I worked there, the more that I saw and the harder it became to ignore.
Alex says they contacted the animal rights organization, Animal Justice, last year in hopes of ending the experiments.
I think the fact that the entire research program, which had been going on uninterrupted for 40 plus years, shut down just days after it became public, says a lot about what they were doing.
At the time, 2 whistleblowers alleged the research involved inducing hours-long heart attacks in dogs as part of cardiac studies and questioned the condition in which the dogs were cared for during the experiments.
These were young dogs. They were otherwise healthy. Most of them were puppies, 1 to 2 years old, being forced into heart attacks that would last multiple hours. And then at the end, they were killed.
The research program has since been halted. 6 of the 8 dogs involved were transferred for rehoming. 2 remain at the hospital. Western's Animal Care Clinic says the remaining dogs have been under the care of veterinarians and are doing well as they prepare them for adoption.
This was never about whether the rules or the regulations were followed. The root of the issue is the outdated guidelines themselves. My biggest concern is the 2 remaining dogs, and there's been no clear explanation for why those 2 dogs are still there.
CTV News reviewed documents dated November 2024 showing a request for 217 animals for research studies over 4 years. The documents indicate the number accounts for animals that may be euthanized during or at the end of the experiments. St. Joseph's declined an interview request, but in a statement confirmed that dog research ended in August of 2025. Proposed provincial legislation is now being discussed that could ban certain experiments on dogs and cats. Rita Ismail, CTV News.
Provincial police say they've laid 36 charges against a man from Leamington after a police chase spanning 3 counties last week. Police say the 34-year-old suspect forced his way into a home near Bayfield Wednesday, stealing a vehicle, then leading police on a pursuit through Clinton, Seaforth and Dublin. Police say he was eventually arrested near Auburn in Huron County. The charges include impersonating a peace officer, armed robbery and dangerous driving. Toronto police say they're looking for a London woman wanted in a weapons investigation. Police released these images identifying the woman as 31-year-old Daniela Young. They say a man from Mississauga has already been arrested and charged after a handgun was found in a downtown Toronto hotel on Sunday. City officials say there's now a wait list to get into London's new micro-modular shelter.
My understanding is that waitlist is well over 100 other individuals that have met the criteria that the Coordinated Access Group has put together to fit and be successful at the micro shelter.
City staff say 68 people are living in the temporary community south of the city. Only 3 have left since it opened in early February, leading Mayor Josh Morgan to tout its initial success. The mayor told a committee he wants to ensure current residents graduate into appropriate housing, though freeing up space for people on the wait list.
I'm hopeful that this site will not be a site for 60 or 70 people, but a site where we get some flow through and people into housing over the course of its operation.
Local paramedics are introducing a new system meant to improve ambulance dispatch protocols. As Jerry Dewan reports, they're trying to make sure the highest need patients get help faster.
The goal is to ensure patients facing life-threatening emergencies receive the fastest possible response from paramedics.
We're going to see system improvements across the service as a whole.
The director of the Middlesex London Paramedic Service, Adam Bennett, went before County Council this afternoon to lay out how the medical priority dispatch system will work. He says it starts with the dispatchers.
They can ask more questions, they can go through and get more details into what it is that the person is calling 911 for, and it helps triage and balance the calls so that calls don't necessarily all fall within one bucket per se.
In recent years, the Middlesex London Paramedic Service has been piloting specialized units designed to respond to specific emergency situations, like the rapid response units.
Our advanced care rapid response unit is going to fit extremely well into the MPDS system. The MPDS system is going to allow us to be able to identify specific calls that it can go to.
The union representing Middlesex London Paramedics has been lobbying for a change to the dispatch system for almost a decade and are encouraged by MPDS.
I'm aware of other services, particularly in the Greater Toronto area, that use MPDS, and from everything I've heard about it, it's going to be a very positive change for us.
Swan says he's seen situations where crews have been diverted away from a scene on numerous occasions in a situation where they should have been the priority.
I've done that call where I've heard the person who has fallen and injured themselves, have an ambulance dispatched several times, had those ambulances canceled several times because other stuff has come in, only for me to arrive and go, oh my God, I can't believe this person's been waiting for 2 hours.
Bennett says along with faster responses and better outcomes, he believes MPDS will be more cost-effective for the ambulance service. The rollout of the system started last October and is expected to come online this October. Jerry DeWan, CTV News.
New ownership is unveiling plans for a former independent living home that closed under some controversy last year in Lucan. With more on the facility's future and the people it's meant to support, here's Sean Irvin.
By mid-July, this building in Lucan will house a privately operated multi-generational retirement home serving 51 residents. It will include a secure section for patients with dementia, a retirement community, and other areas of care not found in many facilities.
And then the rest will be the intergenerational neurodiversity, developmental disabilities.
Until February 2025, those groups exclusively occupied the building when it operated as Jake's House. Jake's House closed amid government funding cuts and ongoing multi-jurisdictional investigations. But at the time, the reasoning mattered little to residents.
I'm very upset about it, and I wish we could stay here for another couple of years.
Following the closure, the building went into receivership. Enter Highview, a southwestern Ontario operator of 2 homes in London and Kitchener.
We just followed the court process and bid on the building through receivership, and we were successful in getting it. So we bought the building, got the keys, and on we go.
Renovations begin immediately on the project.
But what I can tell you is that when you walk into that building, after we open, it is going to feel like new.
While the resident mix at Highview will vary to meet regulations, Birch tells CTV News former Jake's House residents are welcome to apply.
We would welcome back any of the folks who lived in the building before. We would be so happy to hear from them. We would be so happy to meet them. I think that would be a wonderful thing.
And if their families can afford the care at Highview Lucan, that pledge would certainly meet the wishes that former residents had 1 year ago.
I hope to heck we get back here at some point.
Sean Irvin, CTV News.
Mayors across Ontario partnered with Meals on Wheels teams today, delivering food to vulnerable residents, trying to highlight concerns over food insecurity in our region. With more, here's Scott Miller.
I'm excited to give this to you.
Barb Salter is always excited to open her door for OneCare's Meals on Wheels program.
It means a lot to me because I'm a diabetic, and this keeps my sugar in tow. And they're so nice when they deliver the parcels to me, the meals to me.
Salter is one of 249 clients who received Meals on Wheels in Huron and Perth counties last month. That's an 87% increase from February of last year, when there were only 133 Meals on Wheels clients.
In Huron and Perth, we're easily around servicing around 2,000 meals in a month's time.
Some people don't leave their home for the entire month, so that could be someone's connection. If they get a meal 3 times a week, that's their hello and how are you doing? So it's so important.
It's cheddar and broccoli stuffed chicken.
To mark March for Meals Month, local mayors became Meals on Wheels delivery people for a day, seeing firsthand the difference hand-delivered meals make for some isolated seniors.
Oh, means a lot because I don't drive, so.
I think it's all about making that personal connection, a simple hello, knocking on the door and providing a hot meal to someone, and this could be their only meal that they have for the day. That is so important for someone.
OneCare says Meals on Wheels also plays a role in preventative health care, keeping seniors out of nursing homes and local emergency rooms by possibly preventing falls.
If someone's just eating tea and toast, that's not enough to keep them going, and so we know this is a big part of the sector, but it's also a big part of healthcare in Ontario and supporting that.
For Barb Salter, it's one of the highlights of her week when OneCare volunteers knock on her door with a hot meal in hand.
There's lots of food. Yeah, and very variety, too. You don't get the same thing all the time.
In Goderich, Scott Miller, CTV News.
A special presentation today for local students from the brother of Terry Fox. He's visiting London, carrying on his younger brother's legacy. With more, here's Brent Lale.
Terry showed that if you want something bad enough.
Fred Fox, Terry's older brother, was sharing inspirational stories at Northridge Public School.
They know about who Terry Fox is, but I try to share some stories that they may not know about Terry.
As he spoke to the hundreds of students, Logan Boyce listened intently.
As a cancer survivor, it's significant to me because the fundraising from it probably helped treat my cancer.
The 13-year-old grade 8 student got leukemia at age 3 and went through 4 years of chemotherapy.
It's not every day someone like Fred Fox just comes to your school, because I've been personally impacted by this, and I think because of that I understand the significance of stuff like this.
Northridge is a perennial powerhouse when it comes to fundraising for the Terry Fox Run. This past year, they led the city, bringing in $31,400. They've participated in every Terry Fox Run.
Over those years, we have raised an amazing $306,000.
Teacher and school run organizer Heidi Fretz grew up learning about Terry Fox in school.
When I met my husband, we just said, yeah, when we have our kids, we'll make that a part of our family. And so we've always done the Terry Fox Run with our kids. And then my husband actually taught here as well. And then in 2020, he was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. And we lost him 4 months later at 47. So it certainly did light an even bigger fire about our Terry Fox passion.
Terry would make everyone around him that much better. I share things about Terry that hopefully is valuable to them, about Terry working hard and never giving up, and Terry truly believed that anything is possible.
Fred Fox's stop here at Northridge Public School was the first of many over 2 days here in the Forest City. He's carrying on an educational tradition his mother started decades earlier. Brent Lale, CTV News.
The latest production hitting the Grand Theatre's Spreet stage opens for previews tonight. Oscar Wilde's classic, The Importance of Being Earnest. It's a London-made tribute to the Victorian-era comedy. It's in previews tonight through Thursday before officially opening Friday night, and it runs until April 2nd.
We've got 3 colors that run through the show, one for each act. And on the surface level, this is really just a sort of an extreme operatic stylized version about social convention. So, in Victorian London, it might be the case that, don't leave your house without a hat on. Well, in this version, it's pushed to this absurd place of, if you go visit someone in town, make sure you wear only head-to-toe green, right? So that's kind of the idea. Oscar Wilde wrote a lot of his work in code because it was, scandalous and in fact illegal to express a lot of the kind of transgressive sort of queer sexual nature that was in some of those plays. So they're buried underneath. So everything about the physical production is enacted to try to get the audience tuned into being open to hearing that code, while at the same time maintaining the populism of the service level.
We are live on location tonight at Bowler Mountain for Tampon Tuesday. We're joined by the founder of Tampon Tuesday, Mandy Fields. Mandy, this has been going on for 17 years. You started this Tampon Tuesday. Take us through the journey and where you started and where you are today.
Oh, hi, Julie. Thanks so much once again for helping us get the word out about Tampon Tuesday. It was 17 years ago. I was fortunate to be working for CTV at the time and supporting the London Food Bank for the Spring Food Drive. And I was invited in, and I saw in the non-food item cupboard that they had shampoo, toilet paper, diapers, but no tampons or pads. And so I asked the question to Jane Roy and Glenn Pearson, and then that's when Tampon Tuesday was born. I I lived it. That's when we all have a story, and I was young when my mother died, and I lived that period poverty, and that those two words. It's a message that's out there now. A lot of people say it, but 17 years ago, I'm proud we were the first ones, and Bell Media got right behind the idea. And so where we are today, it's really exciting, right? Because it really speaks to people caring about each other. We don't have to need the product to understand that women, girls, people who menstruate need these products to get on with their life.
You've had hundreds of events tonight, adding to that number. It's gone coast to coast. Tonight's event, of course, is special because it's here in London. The women who come tonight are part of a community, but they all show up and bring tampons, and that's what tonight's event's about.
Absolutely, and we ask specifically women, either entrepreneurs or people we see as givers, or people come across us like Oriana Elijah Brown from Oneida Nation of the Thames. She's opening up a gym, the first gym of its kind on Oneida, called Creekside Fitness, and we're like, Oriana, come and speak at Tampon Tuesday. Let's help you get that message out, because that is the spirit of really sisterhood. And even with you showing up once again to Tampon Tuesday and championing this cause, this event, there's multiple events going on tonight. That is what sisterhood is showing up for each other in this way to make sure people get these products. It's not a luxury item.
Thank you so much, Mandy. The products are piling up here. There are a lot of women and men here tonight supporting Tampon Tuesday. Thank you so much for being with us. We have some spring weather out there today, that's for sure. We started the day with some sunshine and temperatures across the region coming up above the freezing mark finally. And daytime high in London coming in at around 4 degrees. Temperature from Midwestern Ontario toward Windsor, as you can see, anywhere from 1 to 5. We did have some light flurries towards the Bruce Peninsula. Bit of mixed precipitation as well earlier in the day, but in London it was nice and quiet. The winds easing off out there this evening. Will dip down to about -1 by midnight, and skies will remain clear. As we head toward the weekend, temperatures are going to climb. Day-to-day warming trend continues. We'll be into the teens as we head into your Thursday, but a cool crash on Friday. I'll put it all together for you. We'll talk about rain moving in and the potential for some mixed precipitation towards the Bruce. I'll have your local weather details live on location from Bowler Mountain and this wonderful event of Tampon Tuesday. Back to you.
Thanks very much, Julie. When we come back, the latest on the LaGuardia plane crash investigation and the indications the pilot's quick actions may have saved lives. Plus, is America's air traffic controller shortage impacting Canadian interest in U.S. travel?
Download the CTV News app and stay on top of local stories as they unfold.
We begin tonight with Ontario's latest.
Customize your feed and watch live wherever you are. CTVLondon.ca, your home for news.
Welcome back. Investigators have spent the day examining what went wrong at LaGuardia Airport when an Air Canada Express jet crashed into a fire truck, killing 2 Canadian pilots and injuring dozens of other people. With more on the questions they're trying to answer, here's Adrian Gobriel.
With the twisted, tangled wreckage of Air Canada Express Flight 8646 still strewn across LaGuardia Airport's runway 4, new details today on the tragic chain of events. The U.S. Port Authority fire truck that collided with the Air Canada Express passenger plane didn't have a tracking device on board to alert LaGuardia Airport's surface detection equipment of its location.
You have to know where ground vehicles and aircraft are. So in this case, that vehicle did not have a transponder.
We're also learning crucial details from the final moments recorded inside the cockpit as the Air Canada flight made its final descent.
At 54 seconds, the flight crew acknowledged that the airplane was 500 feet above the ground and on a stable approach. At 25 seconds, Truck 1 requested to cross runway 4 at taxiway Delta. At 20 seconds, the tower cleared Truck 1 and company to cross runway 4. At 9 seconds, the tower instructed Truck 1 to stop.
Stop, Truck 1, stop, Truck 1, stop.
At least 10 calls to stop went unanswered as air traffic control watched the scene unfold in real time. The impact claiming the life of pilot Antoine Faure, who grew up southwest of Montreal. Foray's brother Cedric sharing this childhood photo on Facebook while writing in part, "Have a good flight, my brother. Oh yes, we've heard the phrase often, but this time it will be the last. You left us again. Too soon to say goodbye. I love you, my brother. You can leave with your head held high." At Seneca College campuses today, Canadian flags are at half-mast for co-pilot Mackenzie Gunther, who graduated with honors in aviation technology. There are also stories of survival. Flight attendant Solange Tremblay suffered multiple leg fractures after she was ejected from the aircraft while still strapped to her jump seat, her family calling her survival miraculous. Aviation experts believe the pilots may have saved the lives of dozens of passengers.
The crew, in my opinion, heroically did what they could to slow the aircraft down and to lessen the impact.
This comes as confirmation that 3 Canadian Transportation Safety Board inspectors arrived at the crash scene this morning to work in lockstep with their U.S. counterparts.
They are entitled to tour the wreckage. They also have access to most of the recorded information that will be collected during the investigation.
As for the flight data recorder, analysis on that is expected to begin today, with a transcript of the cockpit voice recorder released tomorrow. Adrian Gobrel, CTV News, Queens, New York.
The disruption at LaGuardia is causing rippling delays across North America. As Joy Malbon reports, there are long lines at several airports, and some are now reconsidering their travel plans.
Take a look at some major American airports. Massive lineups snaking outside terminals and security grindingly slow. TSA agents have gone a month without pay. Many aren't showing up, and hundreds have already quit, thanks to a partial government shutdown.
Oh my God, this is insane. I mean, I've never experienced anything like this. It's crazy. It's insane. I mean, I've never seen an airport like this.
President Donald Trump sent ICE agents to some of the busiest airports. Without training on airport X-ray machines, all they can really do is control crowds.
Put these people back to work, man. Get them paid. Obviously, you know, people deserve to get paid. You know, I hate that they hold people hostage.
Democrats refuse to fund ICE and Homeland Security until changes are made to the president's hardline immigration operations after 2 Americans were killed in Minneapolis.
It's a simple solution, Donald Trump. Pay the TSA workers, so you don't have to bring ICE agents in there.
But the president said he doesn't do deals with Democrats. And as frustration boils over, from missed flights to waits up to 4 hours or more, this checkpoint chaos and safety concerns about air traffic control staffing shortages is just another reason Canadians are taking a hard pass on visiting the U.S. Stats Canada reports return trips from the U.S. plunged 22% from the year before, driven by politics, tariffs, and a weak Canadian dollar. Lawmakers are working on a compromise deal that would fund Homeland Security except ICE and end this travel chaos. But the president, he didn't seem too enthusiastic about it. Joy Malbon, CTV News, Washington.
Back to Bowler Mountain now, rejoining Julie Atchison live on location for us tonight. Julie, over to you.
Whether you've lived it or you just bear witness, we need both.
Thank you so much, Carlyle. Yes, we are at Bowler Mountain. And just so you know, Bowler Mountain will be open this weekend for skiing and snowboarding. So despite the warm temperatures, they still have snow on the hills. And of course, they're going to be winding down the season this weekend with their big puddle jump on Sunday. So temperatures across the region quite spring-like, but that snow base has been holding. Daytime highs across the region today ranging anywhere from 4 to 6 degrees. It was a cold start this morning at -7, but we recovered quite nicely this afternoon. Still a couple degrees below where we should be for this time of year, but our sunset hour, look at that, 7:42. At the London airport on the hour, sitting at +3. The winds easing off, but the pressure's high. So we are under the influence of high pressure, but there's a low well off to the north and a little cold front that's sneaking its way through. Not really a lot with that front today, other than some flurries and a bit of blowing snow towards the Bruce Peninsula. But across the rest of the area, we are just seeing a bit of cloud cover. As we look Right across the country, though, double-digit temperatures on the west coast with periods of rain moving in, and then we get a dip through Calgary and then back up in Regina. But if you focus on what was happening in through the southern U.S., they are baking under a dome of heat. Not quite the case for us. Tonight we'll dip down between about -2 to -6 with some milder temperatures right along that lake shore. Tomorrow we will see cloudy conditions. You can see a little bit of mixing going on to the north, but that won't be until we head into Wednesday night. So there is a chance for showers Wednesday night, but the main rain that's coming in will hold off until Thursday, and then we have some rainfall expected. This will be associated with some warm air, so temperatures are expected to quickly climb into the upper teens with the risk for some thunderstorms as we head into Thursday evening. So we're going to see a big temperature difference from Thursday into Friday. So your forecast for tomorrow, we'll start the day with a mix of sun and cloud, the winds out of the south-southwest, and then increasing cloud cover heading into the afternoon. Rain and gusty winds on Thursday. Can't rule out a thunderstorm in 16. That cold front comes through with a sharp drop in temperature on Friday, back to mainly sunny conditions. Friday looks great at +1. Mix of sun and cloud Saturday and Sunday. Daytime highs coming in at 7 degrees and 9 degrees on Monday under a mix, and a mix of sun and cloud on Tuesday. Look at that forecast, friends. More sunshine than showers. Temperatures headed in the right direction. We do have some cold days, but overall temperatures will average closer to where we should be for this time of year. So mainly cloudy with breaks for your Wednesday, the high 7. Mid-teens heading into Thursday, rain and gusty winds, and then Friday, full sunshine, looking good. Could see a few flurries kicking around on Saturday. This will be off-lake flurries with the temperatures on the cold side. Those overnight lows creeping up just a bit, but it will be cold Friday night into Saturday with overnight lows anywhere from -10 to -14. The event continues here behind us tonight. Lots of women, as I mentioned, and men out to support Tampon Tuesday. They have a huge tower of tampons and pads to donate to the London Food Bank. And again, all the donations tonight stay right here in our community. That's a wrap from Polar Mountain tonight. I'll send things back to the newsroom in Carlyle. I am headed back for the end of the show. I'll see you in a few minutes.
Sounds good. Thanks very much, Julie. Still ahead, when job prospects prove too good to be true, what to watch for to avoid employment scams. And Lauren Stallone is with me because later in the newscast, it is Behind the Likes and another trip down nostalgia lane for this week, Lauren.
That's right. We're talking to some very extra special guests.
All right. We'll speak to them a little later in the newscast. Stay with us.
We'll catch you tomorrow morning at 7:10 for Prize Town. You can win some Megan Patrick tickets.
She's coming to Rum Runners this June. We want you to be there. Good luck tomorrow morning.
Gas prices may have peaked, at least in the short term. According to industry analysts, prices could fall as much as 13 cents a liter tomorrow. The price of oil dropped nearly 10% yesterday after President Donald Trump suggested talks with Iran could lead to a resolution in the Middle East. Iranian officials have since denied any talks were taking place, though. Job scams are becoming more common, targeting people who are looking for work. As Pat Foran reports, some of them are convincing enough, defrauding would-be job seekers out of thousands of dollars.
Many people like watching movies, so does Abe Reese of Aurora. That's why he was excited to get a text message asking if he wanted a job as a movie reviewer.
They got in touch with me through text messages. It's reviewing films and rating them.
Reese says for about a month he watched and reviewed films. He was told he would be paid, but he needed to put in some of his own money first. He did, but grew concerned and contacted police.
They told me it was all a scam.
Reese was scammed out of $2,000.
I felt sad. I felt like, what am I going to do now?
We also did a story with Greg Burgos. He saw a job advertisement on TikTok and was scammed out of $11,000.
This is money that I was saving. This is money that I need.
Davonshee Podar saw a job posting on Instagram. It was a fake, and she was scammed out of $15,000.
$15,000 is not a small amount. It was all my savings.
We hate to hear about all of these job scams targeting these innocent job seekers.
Indeed is the world's largest job search website. It says criminals are targeting job seekers to steal their information and money. Some signs of a job scam: you receive a job offer you never applied for. There's no in-person interview required. You're offered high pay for easy work. You need to send money to earn money. There are vague job descriptions and unprofessional communication. When someone is looking for work, fraudsters will tell them what they want to hear.
We're going to pay you extremely well. You're going to have flexible hours. You're going to have every benefit you could ever imagine. But we're not going to give you much information about the job. Those are all big red flags.
Reese was trying to find extra income to help his family. If you're looking for work, do your research, check legitimate job boards and company websites. Never pay in advance for expenses or training, or give out your banking information. Pat Foran, CTV News.
Canada's main stock index was up as the price of oil rose. The TSX gained 58 points. In New York, the Dow lost 84. The Nasdaq dropped 185. The Canadian dollar fell a quarter cent today. On commodity markets, gold is down more than $5 an ounce. Oil gained $4.22 a barrel. When we come back, potential OHL expansion in Chatham-Kent. The league's commissioner says it could happen, but only with a new arena. Welcome back. The Ontario Hockey League Commissioner appeared before Chatham-Kent Council last night, pitching municipal leaders on what's required to bring an OHL franchise to the community. With more, here's Robert Lothian.
There's a choke in front of the net. Shot, great.
A pitch to bring the highs of the OHL to the heart of Chatham-Kent. OHL Commissioner Brian Crawford presenting to Municipal Council Monday night on a potential expansion team.
I think Chatham-Kent has always kind of been in the background of potential markets that could one day be interested in hosting an OHL team.
Crawford said talks are underway across Ontario to expand the 20-team league. A commitment from the OHL hinges on a quality facility.
Level of interest that the community has in building an arena in this scenario. Without an arena, there isn't much to discuss.
In Chatham, a new arena for local hockey and recreation is already a need, but an OHL team needs capacity for at least 5,000 people, with an estimated $150 to $200 million price tag.
So we're in the market for a new arena, whether it's a 5,000-seat OHL arena or not, I don't know, but the timing's correct because we're going to build an arena, I think, one way or the other.
Ward 6 Councillor Michael Bondi is one of several councillors worried about impacting the existing Chatham Maroons, who have a lengthy history and a passionate fan base.
So that's going to be a big question, is what happens to our, beloved Maroons that have been playing hockey here for, again, probably close to 80 years.
But Crawford says GOHL teams already coexist in other markets.
We, as in the OHL, have a very vested interest in the health and the longevity and the viability of the GOHL because of our now partnership and because of our dependence on them to help develop our players going forward.
The league would oversee finding an owner, and the team would lease space and ice time. Even with a new arena, a Chatham-Kent OHL team would be 3 to 8 years away. Robert Lothian, CTV News.
London police say they've charged 6 teenage boys accused of multiple break-and-enters in southwest London. Police say a homeowner woke up early Sunday morning to his door being damaged. According to police, the boys fled in a vehicle and fired shots at the man who had tried to chase them. They say the man was not hurt, and the boys were located along with 2 pellet guns later that morning. Researchers in China have unveiled a new robotic system for harvesting apples. It includes 2 semi-humanoid robots. The taller machine is designed to pick apples hanging 1.5 meters high. The shorter one grabs lower hanging fruit. The pair use an advanced vision system to locate the trees and apples while identifying potential damages. The system is undergoing testing in a simulated orchard lab. Tomorrow, looking ahead to round 1, we take a look at the London Knights and their playoff opponents from the Sioux as they get ready for Game 1 Friday night. That's tomorrow on CTV News at 6.
A CTV London weather snapshot shout out tonight to Sharon Renault. Thank you so much for sending this photo in from St. Thomas. Mild temperatures over the next couple of days, rain and gusty winds on a Thursday, but a beautiful weekend setting up right across southwestern Ontario.
Preparations are underway in Toronto for Canada's men's soccer team ahead of 2 pre-World Cup exhibition matches over the next 7 days. With more from today's training session, here's Heather Wright.
On a sunny but frosty field in the northwest corner of Toronto, members of Canada's men's national soccer team took to the pitch today. The team is in town for 2 friendlies as the squad preps for the World Cup now just 80 days away.
We're calm, we're focused, we're ready. And I think we've all been preparing for that moment, and we know there's still preparations leading up to that, but come June 12th, we know we'll be ready for that moment.
Included in the work, promos. The team spent the morning shooting videos, photos, and interviews that will be part of the World Cup broadcast.
It's a dream come true for me personally, but the team to inspire the next generation.
For these players, competing in a World Cup was never a given. Canada went 36 years without qualifying for the tournament. And so to be representing their country at home is something many only dreamed of as kids.
And I thought World Cups are only for the Brazils, the Spains, the Italys of the world, and not for Canadians. So to be standing here today and, as you said, 80 days out, couldn't ask for more.
With less than 3 months to go until the tournament kicks off, work is wrapping up at Toronto's BMO Field. 17,000 temporary seats have been added to the stadium, along with other upgrades, which include a new playing surface. Hosting 13 World Cup matches in Canada is not inexpensive. The price tag in Vancouver is estimated between $532 and $624 million, while Toronto is set to spend $380 million, a figure the city's mayor says will not rise.
$380 million is what we promised, and that is what we're delivering.
So as the final preparations get underway in Toronto and Vancouver, there are still plenty of questions about the team that will take to the field on June 12th, with many would-be starters dealing with injuries, including team captain Alphonso Davies. Heather Wright, CTV News, Toronto.
Ukrainian authorities say Russia launched a massive drone and missile barrage on Ukrainian civilians last night. They say the aerial strikes killed 4 people and injured at least 27. Air Force officials say Russia fired nearly 400 long-range drones, as well as cruise and ballistic missiles. They also say Russia is stepping up ground attacks along the front, trying to break through defenses in several key areas, potentially embarking on a new spring-summer offensive. NASA officials announced plans for a multi-billion-dollar base on the surface of the moon.
The moon base will not appear overnight. We will invest approximately $20 billion over the next 7 years and build it through dozens of missions, working together with commercial and international partners towards a deliberate and achievable plan.
NASA administrators say the base will support sustained operations on the lunar surface and would be constructed using some of the components already built for a planned space station in the moon's orbit. They say that project has now been canceled in favor of the surface base. Local astronaut Jeremy Hansen is part of the crew flying to the moon next week, a tentative launch date of April 1st. And on the other side of the break, it is Behind the Likes. Lauren's with me. Julie is back from Bowler Mountain as well, because we are going back to the 90s on the other side of the break, Lauren.
That's right, the so-called best decade.
We'll debate, all right, coming up after the break.
London's top stories.
We have breaking news tonight out of Ottawa. The latest in the
breaking news alerts.
I'm tracking an area of severe weather. It'll start.
And watch live.
A development now to a story from City Hall we brought you.
Download the CTV News app.
And before we go tonight, it's Behind the Likes with Lauren Stallone, Julie Atchison here as well. Lauren, we are going back in time again this segment.
That's right. This one's really fun. It's another nostalgia-based trend similar to the 2016 trend that we did a couple of weeks ago. And people on social media have been posting following the prompt, Mom, what were you like in the 90s? So they include a variety of pictures that showcases what they were doing in the 90s, what they were wearing, fashion trends, makeup trends, pop culture, and it's really cool. We see a lot of celebrities participating in the trend, like Reese Witherspoon here, and those 90s pop and pop culture icons. So it's a great way for social media users to connect with each other and provide that human element now.
And there are three of us here because we represent three very different experiences of the 90s, I would say.
I was going to say the 90s are the so-called best decade, and I got to say I wasn't alive to experience that, but I know, Julie, you were living your best life during the 90s.
I really was living my best life in the 90s. It's funny, both of my kids say to me, what were the 90s like? And I think they both agree that we had the best music, no one was following us around, we could just live our lives. I went to find some 90s pictures, and I actually couldn't find any. These are just a few that I popped up in a box, but I actually hid my 90s album. I'm going to keep that from my kids for a while. I had a lot of fun in the 90s, and there was
the fashion.
There was and there was no social media to, you know, be posting things. No one was following us around. No one knew what we were doing. We were just having fun.
Good old days, you could say.
Myself, I was born in the early 90s. I have vague memories of being quite young up in Northern Ontario, and with that in mind, we actually did think that we would bring in a couple special guests here, Lauren. Those are our moms.
Hi, Mom.
Leanne Stallone and Angela Fiset. Thanks so much for being with us tonight to share their perspectives on the 90s. And I'll start with my mom, Angela. What do you remember the most about us growing up in the 90s in Northern Ontario?
Well, I basically remember it as beginning in the early 90s with the birth of both of my children. So certainly that was, you know, a major milestone. Otherwise, I remember personally from a mom, and many of my friends did the same thing, going to step aerobics. That was a big thing. So, you know, wearing the matching bodysuit and leggings, leg warmers.
I will point out that we didn't actually have pictures of my mom in that era. But,
That's too bad.
Take her word for it.
That was the best kind of fitness, honestly. And my mom is also with us now. My mom was doing a lot of things in the 90s. She was in her 20s. So, Mom, what were you like in the 90s?
Oh, the 90s was a great period. So I was in high school. I was a cheerleader. I also met your father in high school. It was a big decade for me because I went from high school to adulthood, and lots of changes, ups and downs, and you get through them. And yeah, it was a really great time, and I wouldn't change any bit of it for the world.
Now, this trend kind of makes me emotional because I think back and I realize that I'm in the same decade of my life that my mom was in the 90s. She was in her 20s. She was graduating high school, university, starting her career. And you may have noticed I tried to replicate her perm. I mean, she really pulled it off. It's kind of like a Stallone staple, the Leanne 90s perm. Yeah. I got to say, I don't know how she pulled it off, but it looks fabulous.
You pulled it off and you look so much like your mom.
Yeah, people have always said that. So the best compliment.
Lauren and Julie, thanks for being with us. To Angela and Leanne as well. That's it for us tonight. It's Behind the Likes. Thanks so much. We'll see you again tomorrow.